So, it's been a while, hasn't it? After being away from my channel for nearly a year and a half at the time of me writing this, I think it's high time I give a channel update, why I haven't been uploading, and what I have planned for the future. So, first things first, where have I been? It's a long story, so let me run it back to the early 2020s. Without getting too personal about it, I need to take a break to address some personal problems that I've been pushing off for a couple of years. I didn't like thinking about the future, so I watched YouTube videos as a means of escape. But, of course, my problems never went away, and so over time, they began to grow and get worse. It wasn't until 2023 where I finally reached my breaking point and asked God what I could do. And I remember he told me to let go of YouTube. It was an answer that was pretty hard to hear. Not just for the obvious reason that I was addicted, but because it meant I would also have to stop uploading videos. I love making YouTube videos, and leaving meant I was not going to be making any for a while. But I knew it was for the better, so in 2024, I got together my last videos for that year, and then, reluctantly, I left. From there, I began setting out a roadmap for what I wanted to accomplish in 2025. Since me and my family were planning to move out of our apartment and into a bigger place, my plan was to complete a bunch of personal goals by the end of spring, such as getting my license and getting a job. Then, once I was situated into my new life, I would look for where I could fit YouTube and start making videos again. But big surprise, that didn't happen. Our plans for moving didn't work out, and I only ended up getting to a couple of the goals I set out for myself. So spring came and went, and I was still in the same apartment, dealing with the same problems. Suffice to say, I was pretty frustrated. Things were taking a lot longer than I initially anticipated. And so, slowly, I began to let YouTube back into my life. I thought, since I'm going nowhere in life, might as well get comfortable doing nothing. You might be wondering why I didn't just go back to uploading again. Honestly, I was sort of embarrassed. Embarrassed that I had made this plan to leave YouTube, complete all these big goals, then come back in just a few months, only for none of those goals to be met. I felt like I could never show my face on YouTube after that. I know it sounds silly, none of y'all even knew what I was doing, but I was still holding on to this idea that I couldn't go back to uploading videos unless I had completed all these goals I set out for myself. I'm making this video now because I was finally able to swallow my pride and admit that, yeah, I'm now coming back as a totally changed person. And that's okay. Self-improvement takes time and discipline. It was completely unrealistic of me to assume I could turn my life around in just a few months. I have big goals, and big goals take time to finish. I have a long way to go, but as long as I'm walking with God, taking those small steps forward, I'm gonna be fine. And it's not like I haven't made progress. I've changed quite a lot already from the person I was back in 2024. I even got my driver's license in October. So, I need to keep that all in mind as I move forward. Progress is being made. Update. So, I'm not kidding. After I finished writing this part of the video, I finally landed a job at Safeway. I guess that's confirmation from God that this was the right choice. So the TLDR is, I need to take a break from YouTube to reevaluate some things in my personal life, and now that I've started my journey of self-improvement, I'm finally ready to come back and start uploading again. Sort of. Before getting into that though, I want to quickly follow up on my Sonic Prime video. I haven't got the chance to do this yet since I sort of, ghosted my channel after it came out, but thank you all so much for the love of that video. As of me writing this, it's sitting at around 22,000 views, making it my second most popular video on my channel. Don't ask what my number one video is. You gotta realize, I didn't get a whole lot of views on my videos prior to this. 2024 marked the first time I was consistently getting 100 or more views on each upload. Before that, I was lucky to make a video that surpassed 200 views. So you can imagine my pleasant surprise when my Sonic Prime video blew up the way it did. But it wasn't just the views, it was the comments. It was great to see that so many people weren't just passively watching, but actively engaging with my video. Reading all those comments and seeing the active discussion was truly a joy to watch unfold. And so positive too. I didn't know what to expect when that video came out, but I'm glad so many people enjoyed it. I only wish I would have said all this sooner back when the video was still relevant. Most of the people who watched and commented on my video have probably moved on by now. As for the video itself, I honestly don't have much to comment on. My overall sentiment on the show remains the same. I still don't like Sonic Prime. The only things I would change are a lot of small things. Have this point better explained, move this part of the video around, remove this comment, add this comment. Just little improvements here and there. There are, however, two things I do want to comment on. First, there are my remarks on Sonic Prime being canon. In the video, I implied that I didn't care about the show's inconsistencies with the games despite its canonicity to the greater Sonic mythos. But that's not entirely true. I do care, and I'm right there with everyone else. I think it's incredibly frustrating that a show that markets itself as being canon not only has barely any connection to the games, but also gets so much wrong. Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, and Big's portrayals lack all of their depth from the games and are reduced to simple archetypes. Sonic's characterization is completely off. Shadow's abilities outside of Chaos Control are never mentioned. Everyone hangs out in Green Hill for some reason, with Sonic even calling it his home. Sonic is surprised when the Egg Enforcers don't contain Flickies, even though most of Eggman's Badniks After Heroes don't have those. In the Sonic Advance 3 flashback, they forgot Gemerald isn't part of Eggman's mech, and so he blows up with it. Did you not look at the boss you were referencing? Sonic is surprised to see a robot version of himself. I mean, come on. There are interviews after interviews of the executive producer McPherson saying that Sonic Prime is canon, that it's a part of the mythology of the series. And then you watch the show and it's so clear that it's not. I'm sorry, but you can't just put in a couple sprite animations and then call it canon. So yes, I do agree that the show's blatant misrepresentation of the Sonic franchise is a problem with the show. But it was also the only critique I heard people talking about. Well, that and how stupid Sonic was. I wanted to move past the surface level critiques and get at the heart of what makes Sonic Prime's story so bad. So all I have to say, I do care about the show's contradictions with the games. But there were other talking points I cared more about. Another thing I wanted to comment about on my video was my tone towards the writers and the rest of the creative team behind the show. While I tried to stay neutral, I did end up throwing a lot of shade at the people who made Sonic Prime, calling their writing amateur and lazy. I even went so far as to claim I could write a better ending to the show without being paid. I was under the belief that the only explanation for why the show's writing was so bad was because the writers didn't care about the story they were making. However, after watching a video by Blackout Media on the subject, I have gained a more neutral perspective. I think as a consumer, I often forget that creatives such as writers don't have complete freedom in what they make and how they make it. Writers and animators can often work under tight deadlines from executives, as well as receive further restrictions from budgeting and mandates. It's easy to claim I could do better when I'm not the one in the hot seat. And this should apply to all of us. I think we all need to be a little more sympathetic towards the people who actually put the work in to create this show. These guys already have it rough. I don't want to make it worse by taking a crap on their hard work. Now, don't take this as a defense for the show's poor writing, or that the writers can never be at fault when it comes to bad stories. I think there's a point to be made that writers can and have been responsible for how bad the writing is in certain shows, and you can't just blame every poor decision in the story department as being an executive problem. But in a context like with Sonic Prime, where the details regarding the production of the show haven't been revealed to the public, it's ignorant to claim it was the writers' fault. The truth is, I don't know why Sonic Prime turned out the way it did. so I'm not going to act like I do. Going forward, I want to just focus on the media that I'm talking about, and not try to point fingers unless there is sufficient evidence to do so. If, in a future video, I do propose a theory for the source of something being good or bad in a story, I'll be clear with my intentions and say that it's just a theory. So, now we get to the part you've been waiting for. Or you skipped to here. What do I have planned for this channel? I'm gonna get the bad news out of the way first. Uploads are going to be less frequent going forward. There's a few reasons for this. For one, YouTube videos just take a long time to make. That Sonic Prime video, it took me nearly a year from start to finish. Granted, that's because I wasn't working on it 24/7, but even if I was, it probably would have been at least a couple months in the making. Making videos, especially the videos I make, takes time, and I have other interests that I want to spend time on as well. And now that I'm working a part-time job, I'm gonna have even less time to make videos. YouTube for me is just another hobby. Always was, and always will be. And so I'm not going to try and prioritize it. I know that may be disappointing for some of you to hear, but it's not like I'm going away. I'm still making videos, and I have some in the works that I want to get you excited for. First, I'm going to be making a continuation to my redraw series from back in 2022. This time, it'll be themed around Sonic art. I was originally going to release the video back in 2025, I even had most of the editing done too, but I didn't feel ready to come back to YouTube, and so it never came out. Although I'm kinda glad I waited on it because there are some parts of the video I would like to change. I can't be sure when the video will come out, but I'm aiming for sometime during the summer. Another video that I plan to release during the summer is a speed draw for the Sonic 35th anniversary, which will likely be in late June around the Blue Blur's birthday. Actually, at the time of me recording this, that's like literally 2 weeks from now, so it's gonna be like incredibly soon, so yeah. But the big video I'm working on will be a retrospective on the Sonic movie franchise. Originally, I was going to make this a series, one video for each movie, as well as fun for the Knuckles show. In fact, I had the first 2 videos recorded back in 2025, but just like with the redraw, I waited off on finishing them until I felt ready to come back. And again, I'm really glad I did, because after looking back on the scripts that I wrote, yeah, they're in desperate need of a rewrite. So the movie retrospective is going to be a mega video instead, where I'll be going through all 3 movies, minus the Knuckles show. Look, no hate towards it, but there's literally like nothing to talk about with that show. Of course, this means it's going to be a while until that video ever comes out. I estimate an early to mid 2027 release. I also intend on making a reaction to the Sonic Movie 4 trailer when that eventually comes out. So, if you like the Sonic Prime video, then you're in luck because Sonic stuff is all I plan to post for a while. Can you tell I'm a fan? Aside from videos, I want to try creating my very own persona. Something that I realized when editing my Sonic Prime video is that I prefer it when my commentary / scripted videos are all voiceover rather than having IRL segments. I'm not set up to where recording me talking into the camera is the most convenient way to record, so I think going full voiceover will make the recording process much quicker and easier. But I still want to have me in the videos to keep some familiarity with my viewers, so in place of IRL me will be a persona of me. That isn't to say I won't ever be showing my face on camera at all, but I want to try something new and see how it turns out. I don't have anything to show as of writing this script, but I have a solid idea of what I want to do for my persona, and I'm excited to get started. This will go along with a general refresh of my channel to make it up to date. I'll be updating my profile bit by bit throughout the year while working on everything else. And that brings us to the end of the channel updates. Thanks to everyone who stuck around to the end. I'm usually not this personal on my channel, so this was a bit of a tricky video to write. I cannot tell you how many times I wanted to delete the first section of this video so bad. I had so many second thoughts regarding this script. Stay tuned, and until next time, this was a random video. that I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.
Princess Sally Acorn. There's a lot to say about this character. She's the heir to the throne, Sonic's first official romance, the only character that used to not wear clothes, brave and athletic, the most humanoid character, and is like a mother to Tails.